Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's session, Transform Ideas into Action with Copilot Chat. I'm here with my colleague, Gene McKelvey, and he's going to be talking all about Copilot, showing you some really cool things. And as a bonus, at the end, we're going to give you a Microsoft Achievement Code link, and you can redeem that. We'll put it in the chat at the end, because this course, this webinar slash little mini course, maps to the official course MS 423 with the same title. So we do also teach this as a one-day hands-on instructor-led course, and more about that in a little bit. But the good news is you'll get a badge, so you can post that on LinkedIn and make everyone super jealous that you have this badge. And we'll go ahead and start here in just a second. And I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Anne. On behalf of Ascendient Learning, part of Accenture LearnVantage, we would like to welcome you to today's session. LearnVantage is Accenture's learning and skilling business, but what does that mean for you? Well, we still do what we do best, live instructor-led training. And we have a combined experience of 60 years in that. And we still customize courses and programs, deliver them in person, on site, or online. But now, because we're part of this LearnVantage ecosystem, we can also provide other services like skills assessments. And we have a LearnVantage platform. We can provide a learning strategy and blueprint. And we've got partners like Udacity or for nano degrees in self-paced training, and also universities like MIT and Stanford. And I am proud to say that we still work with some of our clients from decades ago, and we work with our top-rated trainers still decades later. And speaking of top-notch instructors, meet your trainer for today, Gene. If you haven't had him in class before or haven't been on a webinar with him, you are in for a treat. He brings nearly 3 decades of experience working with Microsoft technologies. He's partnered with organizations ranging from small businesses to global enterprises, and he helps teams just get the most out of their technology investments. But what really sets him apart, I think, is his passion for technology is matched with his passion for helping people learn and grow, which is why training is just a natural fit for him. And I think he's the perfect trainer for today's session. And you are again in for a treat. So I'm going to stop there. Wait, actually, sorry, I lied. One more quick thing. I will put this in the chat too. Our Microsoft Copilot courses can all also be delivered privately and customized, and I'll put that in the chat. And we also have another upcoming free webinar for Claude Design, and that's July 23rd, and I'll put that in the chat as well. But with that, I'll go ahead and stop my share. I will be here the whole time. I'm just gonna mute myself and kill my video. But I will pass it over to you, Gene.
All right. Thank you so much, Anne, and welcome everybody. Nice to have you all here today. We're going to spend some time talking about a really cool product, and I use it on a daily basis. Never thought I would because, hey, I'm a hands-on type of guy, but never thought I would be as tied to or as dedicated to using a particular technology like I am with Copilot. So I use it on a regular basis, and I'm going to take some of the things that I've gotten to do with it and share this with you. But also, Microsoft has a little bit of curriculum that's tied to this also. So you'll find that as we go through this information, you'll find some things that you'll no doubt find useful for you in your organization. And so you'll notice that the topic is transforming ideas into action. No doubt you have ideas as you're working throughout your day and things that you might want to do. Well, how do I save myself some time? How do I simplify what I do on a regular basis? That's the idea behind this. And we're going to talk about the Copilot Chat basic piece, meaning primarily our focus is going to be on the free version of Copilot Chat. So not that you had to go and buy a particular license for it, but free version of Copilot Chat. So we're going to talk about this now. And of course, our focus is going to be around the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, but without necessarily the add-on license for Copilot. So let's talk about getting started with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. We have 3 different modules. This is our first one on just getting started. This is where we introduce the idea of what Copilot is and what Copilot Chat actually is. And so you'll notice for this introduction, you're going to start your journey, right, with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat Basic. Free, low-risk way to practice prompting, exploring ideas using the web. Okay, so we're not talking about in-house or corporate data grounding with this. We're talking about utilizing what's out on the web to assist us. Okay, and then if you want to use what's in-house, your data that's in your OneDrive, SharePoint, Teams, Microsoft Outlook, whatever the case might be, then you'll want to upgrade to a Copilot Premium license for unlocking all the power in Microsoft 365. But for this particular chunk, we're going to spend some time with describing the purpose of Copilot Chat Basic and its key features, identifying where and how to access Copilot Chat Basic, describing how web grounding delivers real-time web-based answers and how it differs from work grounding. We're going to discuss as well navigating the Copilot Chat Basic interface and then how to actually start chatting. And then the last piece in this has to do with enterprise data protection. What is EDP and how does it keep you secure while you're using the Copilot Chat Basic environment? Now, you'll note my license for my environment may look a little bit different than yours. Okay, so if you're using just the free version, you didn't have a Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat license, or even Microsoft 365 at this point, you're using just the one that's included, let's say in Windows, some of this stuff will still be able to work with you, okay? But your experience, what you see on your screen, will probably be different than mine. So just have that expectation in mind as we go through this information today. Okay, and by the way, the chat is currently not enabled, but the Q&A should be enabled for you. So if you do have questions along the way, there's so much information. I'm not going to have time to go through it all, but what I'm going to do with those Q&A questions is I'll go through and respond to the ones eventually when I get a couple of minutes, get those back over to Anne, and she can make sure that those responses go out to you folks, okay? All right, thank you for participating or being here today. So what is Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat Basic? Well, you'll note that if you already have Microsoft 365, you get this little free tool at your disposal, okay? But it basically grounds conversations. So that phrase grounding has to do with what is the source of the information? Where is it looking in order to provide you a response? So it's grounded in the latest LLMs, the large language models, those pre-trained brains that are sitting around out on the internet. And those pre-trained brains have different functionalities and capabilities. For example, some are more creative than others. So you may rely on a particular LLM for creating imagery, whereas other ones might be better at doing deep thinking, reasoning, and research. Okay. But with Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, is grounded in the latest LLMs and information from the web to help you to get more done, spark your creativity, and even deepen your knowledge. So I don't know if you're anything like me. Many times I get an idea in my head. I'm like, man, let's roll with this. And then I open up a tool, maybe Word or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know where to begin. So if you're anything like me, you may find yourself having to use Copilot from time to time, just kind of kickstart your idea to turn it into an actionable component. Now, Copilot Chat Basic does include secure AI chat that's grounded in the web, powered by the latest GPT models, those LLMs that are out there. Also, pay-as-you-go agents that are accessible from chat and priced on a metered basis. So we'll talk a little bit more about agents. We're going to just touch on it today. But basically, an agent is something that can perform tasks for you, even multi-step type tasks. There's IT controls, including enterprise data protection and agent management, and features like Copilot Pages, file upload, and even image generation. If you're anything like me, I love using that particular image generation tool to fix things or create certain images in order to make those available for any presentations or things that I'm working on. But Copilot Chat Basics features become even more powerful if you get yourself a Microsoft 365 Copilot or Premium license along with your Microsoft 365 subscription. So now Copilot can actually work across your entire Microsoft 365 ecosystem and super powerful at that point. But we're going to spend our time today looking at Copilot Chat. Now, I want to mention this. You notice it's called Microsoft Copilot, right? It's not called Microsoft Pilot, which means basically you are still in control. So you think about a pilot on the plane; they're the ones that make the decisions when to take off, when to land, make even some of the bigger decisions when it comes to emergencies. But what does a co-pilot do? They're there to support the pilot. So the co-pilot isn't flying the plane, right? The co-pilot is there to assist the pilot to get the plane to its destination. And the same with Microsoft Copilot. You're still the one in charge. You're still the one that makes the decisions as to what content you're going to generate, what things you're going to create. But you can use the assistance that comes from Copilot to make those determinations. Ultimately, you're still the one that's fully responsible for what you produce. And so how do I get into this tool? Well, you can go to m365copilot.com, and then it takes you into the Microsoft 365 Copilot page. Note that when you do this, please get yourself signed in with your work email account, a work email account. Okay. So you can go through the web browser. That'll redirect you to the new page that Microsoft has available. You'll also notice that you can go through the Edge browser, and the Edge browser in the upper right-hand corner will have the little, what some are calling a rainbow donut, which is that Copilot icon. All right. It's also available through tools like Microsoft Teams and Outlook. So look for that same image. Okay. And so that could be on the web, Windows, Mac, mobile. You get a full chat experience and even a side pane for quick assistance. And I use that thing all the time. Okay. And you'll notice that the old, well, it's not necessarily old. It depends on how things have rolled out. But look for the Copilot icon. That could be in the left side menu bar. It could be in the lower right-hand corner. It could be in the upper right. Stuff gets moved around based on feedback that comes back from clients. But once you get signed into the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat interface, now you've got a bunch of stuff at your disposal. Okay. So you'll note that you have a new chat button. In my case, it's on the left, but in older interfaces, it may show up in the upper right-hand corner. Okay, you've got agents. So any agents that are at your disposal, you may find tools like a researcher or analyzer in there. But these agents are there for you to start communicating with to help you get things done. You can clear your chat history, you can look at your chat history, right? So you can take a look at the chats or conversations that have taken place. The cool part about doing that is that there's times where you may have already conversed with Copilot about something, and now you need to go back and refer back to it. Copilot will remember that conversation in that conversation environment only. Okay. You can add content. So let's say that I've got some PDFs or some Excel documents that I need to compare with each other, looking for anomalies or perhaps wanting to generate a graphic, an infographic or something like that based on the data that's contained in there. Load those files in. You could upload them from your local computer. You could also pull them from your OneDrive or from SharePoint and add those into your Copilot environment. And then you could converse with or interview those particular documents. You'll notice at the bottom, I have some suggested prompts. The newer interface actually has them as categories now rather than individual prompts. But nonetheless, this is a way to kind of kickstart some ideas as to how you can talk to a Copilot. In fact, you may see even the Copilot prompt gallery or Copilot prompt lab. In my case, it's called a lab. And it may show up as 3 dots rather than a show more button. But nonetheless, these are for you to get some ideas as to how to do prompting and also how to edit and save your prompts for another time. Okay. There's a dictation button. We could type 40, 50, 60 words per minute, right? In my case, I could type 80, but I got a whole lot of backspace in mine, right? So although it comes out okay, eventually I still talk faster than I can type, and I could talk more efficiently than I could type. And that's the way most people are. We could talk 160 words per minute is pretty average. So if you want to talk to Copilot as opposed to type data in, then use that dictation box or that dictation button to talk to Copilot. And it will type out everything that you're saying into the prompt box. That prompt box, that's where the magic happens. And that's where you put your instructions. That's where you put your ideas. And then you hit enter and allow Copilot to just do its thing. One thing I would like to stress to you, however, You see the start a new chat button, right? Wherever that lives on your interface, use that anytime you need to change topic. Change topic. So perhaps you've been talking to people before and we're talking about a particular topic. Maybe it's even a very deep topic. And then all of a sudden they go, hey, by the way, and then they throw in something else. Your brain was already working in a particular direction. And now they threw, I like to call them squirrels. They like to throw a squirrel in the mix, right? And so now you got this squirrel running around in your conversation. It's like, oh, where'd that come from? And in the meantime, you've already had your mindset or a context around your previous conversation. So now you're trying to figure out, where does this squirrel fit into this context? Copilot does the same thing, right? It builds a context. And so anything that you're going to talk about, make sure it stays in that particular context. Okay, if you do need to change conversation topic or something like that, start a new chat. Copilot will never, and your AI tools in general, do not tell you, I don't know. Instead, they'll try to give you a response back based on the context of the current conversation. Okay, so anytime you need to change topic, then make sure you hit a new start or a new chat. Okay, so just to show you my screen here. Okay, give me a sec. I'm going to fire that up and boot it over there so that you can see my window. Okay, so here I am looking at my Copilot chat window. Here's a new chat. So in my case, I've got new chat here. All right, hi, what can I help you with? Here's my prompt box. I've got search. I've got my agents that are listed here as well. Chat, so I can actually look at previous conversations I've had with Copilot. Okay. And they refer back to those. Here's my add and manage sources, or you'll also hear it sometimes called an add content button. Okay, so from here, I could choose to add some content. I could upload images and files. By the way, adding images is pretty cool. Okay, I've taken images like somebody's written on pieces of paper before, screenshot or take a picture of it, and then dump that into AI and say, hey, build me a list, right, based on this information. So upload your images and files. You can attach cloud files. You'll notice that this is a OneDrive icon. So anything you've got in OneDrive or in SharePoint, those can be tied in. You may have other capabilities like building workbooks, analyzing data, doing research. Those may show up for you as well, or maybe not, depending on your licensing. Something else that's kind of cool, you'll notice I'm signed in, so it's got my name down here. But if I hit the 3 dots next to my name and go to settings, I'm going to just show you this because it's cool, but I'm not going to talk too much about it. But if I go down to personalization, I can create my own custom instructions, details about my preferences, so Copilot can respond in a specific way to me personally. Okay, so you've got that. You've got other notifications, agents, and stuff like that you can take a look at. But the prompt box is where all the cool stuff takes place. This is where my instructions go. But sometimes I look at this and I'm like, okay, what do I want to talk about? Or maybe I don't know how to talk to Copilot. Hey, you might be in the same boat at this point. So you'll notice that you could take a look. We've got some categories down below. Maybe I want to explain. Okay, I might want to explain a particular document or perhaps certain data or even certain text or an email. Right. If I don't like any of these, I'm like, nah, I just want to learn about something. Well, I'll hit the 3 dots, take a look. Here's learn as a category. Okay, so I can choose learn and I'll choose help me learn about a particular topic. Okay, so I might say something like help me learn about reticulated giraffe. Okay, start with a detailed write-up about why it's important. And you'll notice I was able to get in and edit the sample prompt that Microsoft had available for me. Okay, and then I could easily come in and send that off. All right, I'll talk more about the responses and stuff in a little while. But nice and easy, right? You'll also note that I have a dictation button. Okay, so if I click start dictation, I have to allow microphone. Tell me about how Copilot can benefit a business on using their Microsoft 365 subscription to the full when using Microsoft 365 for Business Premium. Send that on its way. And notice I was able to dictate it, even though the grammar's not 100% right. It was just ideas, flying around in my head. And notice now it gives me responses back. Okay. So you could use the dictation piece. All right. Okay. Very good. If I start up a new chat, maybe I need to change topic. I'm going to choose new chat. And so I've got my dictation button here still. In the upper right, I can start temporary chats. I can also look at things like pages. And I'm going to talk about pages and other sorts of things here in a bit. But this was a brief overview of what went into the Copilot interface. Now, your particular implementation of Copilot might have a work and web option. Okay, or you may even say see it say something like work IQ. But Copilot Chat Basic will use the web by default. However, if you have a premium license that's associated with yours, you may also get a work and web toggle. Work mode, it's going to use Microsoft Graph, basically internal Microsoft 365 stuff, in order to generate responses from your work data. So you can get to your meetings, you can get files, emails, and other Microsoft 365 resources. In web mode, it's going to use Bing for web data and use generative AI capabilities at Gen AI to generate new data for you, to provide up-to-date insights for research, brainstorming, and even staying informed. Okay, so a couple different modes depending on what license that you have. But what do I need to do in order to start talking to this Copilot Chat thing? Well, 3 ways, 3 things to think about. Number 1, enter your prompt. Okay. And so a prompt is going to be your instructions, your questions that you're sending off to Copilot. And you'll note that it'll be a detailed prompt in the text box. So if you're anything like me, like was mentioned at the beginning, I've got 30 some years in the tech field. And so I basically cut my teeth on search engines. And so when working with technology, search engines, I can put in a query in a search engine and generally get my response back on page 1 or page 2, just because I've been doing this for so long. Don't use just keywords when talking to Copilot Chat. For me, it's still a brain bender to talk to AI as though it were like a human being. Use clear, plain, natural language to talk to Copilot. Okay. Now, if you'd like Copilot to source its information from specific files, which, by the way, is really awesome, you can upload them in your prompt by choosing the Add Content or Add Sources and Files button, and then those could be added into your Copilot Chat. Okay. The next one, be sure you check your sources. Okay. Copilot will tell you where it's queried for the information it provided you. So it's going to tell you the sources of information. I did a prompt to Copilot one day, and it sent back some responses, and it was very, very biased. Like, I wanted neutral information. It was highly biased information. And so when I reviewed what the sources were, some of the sources were not okay by me. So one of the things I needed to do was tell it, remove all references to this site, and this site from your response. Be sure to vet your sources and validate your answers. In fact, even better is part of your prompt, tell it where you want to have its rooted or grounded for its sources of information. And then number 3, which takes folks a little time to get used to, continue the conversation with Copilot. What does that mean? Well, that means that ask it follow-up questions, give it more instructions. Okay. So Copilot has a tendency to be very wordy in its output. So perhaps you're like the office, right? Tell it to me like I'm 5. So you may want to tell Copilot something like, look, I don't need 12 pages of information. Just tell me the core fundamental stuff in 2 paragraphs, or create a bulleted list of 5 bullets of things I need to know right now, or something like that. And you know what Copilot's going to do? It's going to do that for you. Okay. So you can ask follow-up questions if you wanted to. You can refine the answer. You can provide more instructions. Continue the conversation. So if the output isn't 100% correct when it comes back to you, don't just start a new chat and try again. Continue the conversation. Continue the conversation. Okay. With the advent of AI, so many awesome things have taken place. It's easy to build structural things and put things into tables and lists and combine data. But one of the hard things companies have been dealing with is we've got this private, confidential corporate data, and people want to use AI tools, but they feed it all out to the cloud. And you know what you're doing with those big brains out on the cloud? Those LLMs, those large language models, you're continuing to train them. Only now you're training them with your internal corporate confidential data. That is a big no-no, isn't it? Because, hey, that could be used later for somebody to extract later from the AI. So what do we have to help us? Well, when you get yourself signed into Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, you now fall under what Microsoft calls the EDP, or the Enterprise Data Protection. Okay. What does EDP cover? Well, four major controls. One of them is encryption and data isolation. So as soon as you take your data from on-prem or wherever it may live, and you put it into Microsoft storage, there's already service, what do they call it? Storage service encryption. SSE has had a number of names over the years. So the storage service encryption already encrypts your data. But then because you're also accessing Copilot through an HTTPS connection, now you're also having your data in transit protected. It's private by design, so your data remains private, not used to train AI models. So when you're signed in and you're working with Copilot, it's going to keep your corporate data in the corporate environment. For access controls, it's going to respect your organizational permissions, sensitivity labels, retention policies. If your organization is taking advantage of tools like role-based access control, Microsoft Purview, some of the Defender Suite tools as well, then it will also follow the guidelines of that. So Copilot is not a way to circumvent those controls. And then in regards to regional compliance, as time goes on, this is a bigger and bigger deal, but it's going to keep your data within the applicable geographic region and based on Microsoft's processing commitments there too. So I'm going to walk through just this little quiz, and I'm going to unlock the chat for this, okay? So if you feel like you want to participate, go for it. But let's take a look at a little quiz. And so I'm going to take this quiz data, okay, and I'm going to put it into the chat box now. Okay, so feel free, if you're using Copilot Chat, to try this out in your chat environment. So I'm going to take this prompt and I'm going to put it in my Copilot Chat environment. So give me a quick sec here. Okay. So I'm going to put this in. As a Microsoft Copilot Chat basic expert, please create 3 multiple choice questions that assess knowledge of key features, including how to access Copilot Chat Basic, its different modes, how to initiate it, and the concept of EDP. Present one question at a time and wait for my response before continuing. After each answer, provide a brief explanation of the correct choice before moving on to the next question. So if you feel like participating in the chat, go for it. But we're going to have just 3 little questions here. And then each question is going to be multiple choice. So feel free to choose one of the choices. Okay. All right. So question 1. How do you access and start Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat Basic? A, open any browser, go to m365.cloud.microsoft/chat, and sign in with a qualifying work or school account. B, install Visual Studio Code and enable Copilot extension. C, open Microsoft Teams only. Chat Basic is not available on the web. Or D, sign in with a personal Microsoft account only. So what do you think? A, B, C, or D? And feel free to utilize that chat box if you wish. All right, I see a whole lot of A's in there. I wonder if you're right. Let's find out, shall we? Okay, so sent off an A. Survey says, good job. Yep, you got it. Explanation, Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat Basic is accessed by signing in with a qualifying work or school account, opening Copilot Chat on the web. Very good. Let's take a look at our next question. Which statement best describes EDP, or Enterprise Data Protection, in Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat? Is it A, Prompts and responses are used to train foundation AI models. B, enterprise data protection is automatically provided when you sign in with a work or school account, and prompts or responses are not used to train foundation models. C, EDP is available only when using a personal account. Or D, EDP prevents chat logging and auditing by administrators. What do you think? A, B, C, or D? All right. Got a few of those in there. So a few B's. Let's find out if B is the one. And survey says, sure enough, Copilot Chat gives you EDP when you're signed in with a work or school account. Number 3, I'm going to intentionally answer this improperly, just because sometimes people say, hey, what happens if you get the answer wrong? Okay, so question 3, which option correctly describes the different modes or capabilities available in Copilot Chat? A, Copilot Chat only works in a single mode and cannot use specialized tools. B, Copilot Chat can use specialized tools, agents, such as researcher, analyst, and designer to perform different types of tasks. C, Copilot Chat supports only image generation tasks. Or D, Copilot Chat requires a Microsoft 365 Copilot license before any chat capability is available. So A, B, C, or D. What do you think? All right, look at all those responses. That is pretty fantastic. All right. So let's find out if you're right. So I'm going to stick with B in my head, but I'm going to choose, you know what? I'm going to choose A. And let's see what happens if I get it wrong. Oh, correct answer is B. So here's your review. Yay, yay, boo. But you'll notice that for many of the prompts and things that come back, we have a reference or a source, so we could do further digging. In fact, all the way at the bottom, you'll notice the sources are listed, and I can even click the sources button and look at the different citations that were used for this. Okay. All right, something else to note, there is a thumbs up and thumbs down button. Okay, we live in a complaining society today, so people love to thumbs down. However, use the thumbs up, because thumbs down and thumbs up will help Copilot to learn what your preferences are. So if something's wrong, give it a thumbs down. But if it's done something right, tell it that also. It'll start learning what your preferences are. Okay. There's also a copy button. So if you want to take all the output that's come back, you can copy it and paste it someplace else. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And so we're not going to talk about agents at this point. Yeah, thank you. So thank you for your participation. We're now going to move on to the summary. Okay. So now that you've completed this module, hopefully you can describe the purpose, key features of Copilot Chat, identify where and how to access Copilot Chat Basic, describe how web grounding will deliver that real-time web-based answers and how it differs from work grounding, navigate the Copilot Chat Basic interface and how to start chatting, and then even describe how enterprise data protection keeps your data secure while using Copilot Chat. But let's talk about how to talk to this thing. Okay, so I'm going to move through this one kind of quickly because I want to do a really cool demo for you guys. Okay, so we'll talk about writing effective prompts, which we have to have a chapter on writing effective prompts, because there's also ineffective prompts. And so you'll note that this module is writing effective prompts to achieve optimal results. So we could also write ineffective prompts to give us suboptimal results, and we don't want that. Okay, so let's talk about how to make the best of what we've got. And so we're going to talk about using prompting and how to prompt properly. 4 key elements of an effective prompt. We're going to talk context, goal, source, and expectation. Those 4 things. We'll also dig into best practices for clear, concise, well-structured prompts, common prompting mistakes and how to avoid them, and then even where the Copilot prompt gallery comes into play. And as a reminder, if you've got Copilot in your environment, your experience may be different than mine. In fact, it probably is. So what goes into an effective prompt? Well, there are four main ingredients. Okay, and these are key to a conversation with Copilot. Think about if somebody walks by your desk and says, and you tell them, help me. What are some things you've never met them before? What are some things that they're going to need to know? Who are you? What do you do? What am I helping with? What kind of output are you expecting? Where do I find the information you're looking for? Right? So you need to talk to Copilot the same way. Too many times people expect Copilot or any AI tool to read their mind. When we get to that point with technology, I want to drop out. But when we look at tools like Copilot, make sure that you have these four items as part of your prompt. So one of them is the context. Why do you need it? Who's involved? And really, this is like the who are you piece. Okay. Then tell it a goal. What do you want Copilot to do? Many times that's what people start. Give me a bullet list on this particular topic, but there's nothing else that goes along with it, right? So got your goal. We've got a source. So this is where Copilot should look for the information. And then the expectations, how it should be delivered. And so here's just a little sample here for you. The context, why do you need it? Who's involved? Well, I work in marketing and focus on competitor research. Cool. There's some context. Number two, the goal. What do you want Copilot to do? Give me a concise summary of recent news about a particular company. The third thing is the source. Where should Copilot look for information? Now, we have here focus on web articles, but it went even a step further from the last 2 months. So that old article from 1995 isn't going to be added in here. Right? And then the fourth ingredient, the expectation. How should Copilot deliver the answer? Provide the answer in 2 to 3 paragraphs and use a business tone. Okay. So if you're new to prompting, you may even look at these as 4 individual sentences, and I strongly suggest getting familiar with them. Now, this leads to really good initial output. Okay. So when you get that hi, how can I help you message in Copilot, and you put something in with these 4 ingredients, that initial output that comes back is going to be very close to what you're looking for. And then, of course, you can do a little bit of iteration in order to finish it off. But don't just not prompt just because you don't have all 4 of these. Okay, 2 is good, 3 is better, 4 is the best type of prompt that you can work with. Okay, so some prompting best practices then. Be clear, specific, keep it conversational. Okay, don't be vague. You'll also notice give examples. When I'm prompting Copilot, I put in for example so that it understands what it is I'm looking for in output. I do that often, especially if I'm working with like Excel documents and things like that. So if I've got dates in a particular format in an Excel document, it can drag those dates out, and then I'll say, for example, if the date is 2026-07-16, write it out as July space 16 comma space 2026. Okay, so I give it examples so that Copilot knows what the expectations are. Write legibly, that means use proper grammar, sentence structure, things like that. You also notice one of the things that's on here is be polite. Okay, this has nothing to do with robot overlords one day taking over the planet and then them sparing you. But this has to do with garbage in, garbage out, right? If we put in inappropriate, unethical content, slang, jargon, informal language, what do you expect is going to come back? Right? It's learning what you want. So if you talk to Copilot a particular way, don't be surprised if you get something back that may not necessarily be HR compliant. Check it for accuracy. Too many times, people look at the response that AI comes up with as the answer, and then they move on. You need to make sure it's accurate. Your sources are correct as well. Okay. And keep the conversation going. Don't give conflicting instructions, and don't interrupt or change topics abruptly because of context. So what are some web-based prompts that we might be able to do? Well, if I need to revise some content, ask Copilot, can you help me rewrite this paragraph to make it clearer or more concise? Or for generating ideas, list ideas for a fun remote team building event. If you want to start some research, how have world literacy rates changed in the past 30 years? If you do coding, I do a whole lot of stuff with SQL and PowerShell. In this case, they're using a Python example, right? A Python script to perform a binary search. If you're using Excel, this is a great way for you to also find out certain formulas that you can use. Drawing conclusions, help me analyze the data from my experience using this particular file. Web-based prompts. What if I have some things in-house, right? Work-based examples. So for example, I want to take a look inside of my schedule, check your schedule. When's my next one-on-one with a particular person? You'll notice the forward slash that's used in the first one and the last one. That forward slash, when you're tied into work mode, will look into people and files that you have internally, okay? So when's my next one-on-one with a person? Or what does an acronym mean? I can stay on top of my email. What should be on my radar from emails last week? Okay. Frequently, I ask Copilot, have I missed in responding to certain emails, right? So help me with catch up as well. In fact, even catching up on meetings, you could do recaps. But you may not necessarily know how quite to phrase it. Take a look inside of the prompt gallery. It's a prompt repository with pre-curated prompts. So Microsoft has worked with a variety of partners, and these are some prompts that have worked well for these businesses that Microsoft works with. Once you grab a prompt, you can then get in and edit it. You can save it for yourself. So now you have a little section in your prompt gallery for my prompts. You can reuse them, you can share them, and that's definitely going to help you enhance your productivity. So once you get into the prompt gallery, mine looks a little bit different because it still shows up as a prompt lab. But nonetheless, you'll be able to take a look at the prompt gallery, find a prompt that you want to work with. Once you click it, it puts it into the prompt box for you. Okay? And then later, you can edit it, even save it off to get to later on. Okay, so second little quiz. Let's take a look at this. Okay, and I'm going to open up the chat box once again for you. Okay, and there we go. And I'm going to open that back up. So if I take a look at, get this fired up, I'm going to do a new chat. Okay. So I got a new chat here. I'm going to paste this in. And this time, it's going to be on the elements of well-crafted prompts, common mistakes to avoid, and the purpose of the Copilot prompt gallery. Okay, so feel free to use the chat box to provide some responses back. Very first question is, which option best describes the key elements of a well-crafted Copilot prompt? A short, vague request with no details. B, a clear goal, relevant context, desired format, and any source Copilot should use. C, a long paragraph with multiple unrelated tasks. Or D, a request that only tells Copilot what not to do. Yeah, that was pretty easy, huh? Okay, you all pretty much nailed it there. Let's take a look. Sure enough, it's B. Okay, clear goal, context, output, format, and any specific sources. Very good. Number 2, which of the following is a common prompting mistake to avoid? Providing relevant context. B, iterating and refining prompts when needed. C, giving very vague instructions with little detail. D, specifying the desired audience or format. What do you think? Good, getting some responses back. Thank you for your participation. Okay, so I'll throw in a C. Let's see if that works. And correct answer, C. It's C. All right, number 3, what is the primary purpose of the Copilot prompt gallery? A, to store user passwords and settings. B, to discover, use, and manage helpful prompts for Copilot. C, to troubleshoot network connectivity issues. Or D, to manage your Microsoft 365 licenses. Copilot prompt gallery is used for, oh, look at all those responses. You guys rock. I'm going to type in B. Let's see if that's the one. And sure enough, that is it. Very good, folks. Thank you for your participation. Okay, so little quiz there. Now, what did we learn? Well, we talked about the 4 key elements. Please remember, if you're new to Copilot or prompting in general, identify those 4 things in your prompt for the best experience. The context, goal, source, and expectations. Use best practices for clear, concise, well-structured prompts. Avoid those common mistakes and utilize that prompt gallery for helping you discover, save, edit, and even share your useful prompts. Last piece here is on working smarter. Okay, how can we use Copilot on a daily basis? I'm hoping that once we're done with this particular discussion, you're going to find something in here that you'll go, I need to use that moving forward. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to enhance productivity within a secure enterprise-ready environment. So discussing leveraging Copilot Chat to brainstorm ideas, summarize info, create content, analyze files, visualize data, and even generate code. Also using Copilot pages in order to collaborate, provide content in a shared workspace, and then lastly, how Copilot agents automate and personalize tasks. Okay, and I'll just be touching on pages and agents at this time, okay? All right, so how do I use Copilot Chat Basic? Look at these different ideas. The first one here, getting summaries and staying informed. I love using the Copilot tools for this very purpose, for comparisons, for summarizing. You may have a 100-page document that somebody sent you, and you're like, look, just tell me the top 10 things I need to know from this thing, right? So you can summarize a large amount of information, do competitor research, customer insights. You can brainstorm and draft content quickly. You'll notice it says draft content quickly. Please don't look at what Copilot returns as a final draft. Remember, you're still the pilot. Copilot is assisting you, so you still need to get in and put your finishing touches on it. Okay? But hey, for brainstorming, you could choose different styles and formats. If I have a presentation I'm doing for an IT tech team, that's going to be way different than for the executive team that are not techies, like the IT team would be. Number 3, gather insights from files, right? So upload a file, ask Copilot to summarize the key points, or even generate new content. You could visualize your data, turn your data and your ideas into AI-generated images, charts, or infographics. I'm going to tell you, Copilot and really AI tools in general are getting really awesome at generating these images. Okay, so utilize them. If there's something you want to put as an infographic on a presentation, tell Copilot what you want to create, and then it can build it for you. Also, for generating code and formulas, I love this because I do, like I mentioned, PowerShell, SQL. I do a whole lot with Excel. I do a whole bunch of stuff with code. And so I now have Copilot assist me with some of the things I may have forgotten or that I need to use, or even for increasing efficiency. Okay. So try some of these, right? Use terms like summarize or daily brief or even step-by-step instructions. I use that for my clients. They ask me, hey, can you help me out with this? Maybe I've implemented a new resource for them. They want to know how to take care of it, etc. I know how to do it, but I don't want to spend, an hour and a half of my time building the documentation for it. I let AI build it for me. I do something else. Once it's done, I check it and then send it off to my clients. Brainstorm and draft content. Okay. So you could say something like, hey, rewrite this to sound more professional and less verbose, or drafting something like a blog post, asking questions. For gathering insights from files, help me to rewrite the introduction paragraph to make it clearer, more concise in this document. So perhaps you've attached a file, or analyze the data from a particular file. Describe this image in a couple of sentences. Some other prompts for visualizing data. Use terms like illustrate or line chart or infographic. Create a word cloud. For generating code, right? Tell me what this code does, or help me find errors. Write a SQL query. Or if you're using something like Excel, what formula would I use to create an age based on a date of birth? Right? If you have a Microsoft 365 Copilot license, you got all kinds of stuff cool that's tied to you. Summarizing Teams messages. Help me find Teams chats. Drafting a to-do list based on a meeting. Help me plan for my day. There's even some recommended what are called super queries that you can run at the beginning of your day in order to get a high-level overview of everything that needs to be done. It's pretty awesome. But, when you're working with these different prompts, you get a response back in that same session that you're working with. Well, what if I want to collaborate with my team on those responses? Well, now you could take a chat response and turn it into what's known as a Copilot page. Okay, it's an editable, collaborative workspace. So this is a way for you to save and edit AI-generated content and then easily share that content through Teams, Outlook, Microsoft 365. But you can work collaboratively in real time. So as you have a page open, it's going to show the little dot at the top. If you're used to using tools like Microsoft 365, let's say with Word or Excel, and you've got a document open and somebody else can co-edit or co-author along with you, well, you see all the little dots that show up at the top of people that are collaborating as well. And another cool piece, you can take that content and then ship it out to something like Word, PowerPoint, PDFs, right? And so when you get into Copilot Pages, once you have your output, well, now you can choose to edit in Pages. It will now create a new page for you, okay? And then you can start editing it right away. You can open the pages via chat links, the pages icon, or in your recently opened documents. So for example, if I take a look at this, okay, so here I am back in my AI tools. All right, and if I were to choose the three dots, I can choose to edit in pages, and I could add to new page, and look what happens. It will create a brand new web page of this output. Isn't that cool? And it shows me up here at the top. So I could always come in here and share this with others. I could also create a document PDF from this as well. Okay. So Pages is a really cool feature. And then there's so many other things that support Pages as well. We also have this thing known as agents. Okay. The idea behind an agent is that it can help you to automate tasks. So it can take some of the redundancy or the handle some of those routine tasks for you, help you to automate tasks, streamline workflows, and even provide intelligent assistance. So take those repetitive tasks or that research you need to do that on a regular basis, or even help you to personalize your workflows. Give it to an agent to work with. But notice, users without a Copilot license can access Copilot Chat basic agents, or you can create your own in an agent store. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about in regards to agents. Microsoft does have a couple of built-in ones. Researcher for doing in-depth research, and then analyst to actually do some deep analysis, providing you with the output that you might need for business intelligence as well. Note that those tools can take at least 10 minutes to run, depending on what it has to chew on. Okay. So if you want more experience working with Copilot, Microsoft has a fun little exercise for you. Okay. So I'm going to drop this in here. So this is on planning a client innovation summit. So you can actually get in and summarize industry trends, brainstorm and draft session ideas, visualize an agenda timeline, draft a planning document for the summit, analyze and generate content from a file, and even collaborate using Copilot Pages. Super awesome little exercise. It's free of charge. Hop in there and you can take a look at that. Okay. One more little knowledge check that we can work on together. All right. So I'm going to drop this. This is going to be number 3, prompt number 3. Okay. And so in this one, we're going to take a look at what's permitted with uploaded files, key features of Copilot Pages, and agents. So let me open up my Copilot environment once again. Okay. And I'm going to open up a new chat. Okay, and I'm going to paste this right in here. So let's take a look, and this is going to allow you guys to participate as well. Give it a moment. Okay, so number 1, which option best describes the key elements of a well-crafted Microsoft Copilot chat prompt? A short command with no context. B, a clear goal, relevant details, desired format, source context when needed. Sounds like kind of like the one that we just, hold on a sec. That is the wrong one. Give me a quick sec here. One moment. We'll fix this right now. All right, forget I put that one into the chat. Let's do this one instead. I know it's the same question. Whoops. All right. So We're going to fire off a different one now. All right, let's try this again. Okay. Copilot pages and agents. Perfect. Yeah, it was the same question. Sorry about that. All right. One moment. Here we go. Uploaded files. In Microsoft Copilot Chat Basic, what is permitted? A, you can use uploaded files as limited work data context for your Copilot Chat prompts. B, upload files are automatically give Copilot access to all your emails, meetings, and chats. C, uploaded files can only be images, not documents. D, uploaded files can be used only in Copilot pages, not chat. So what do you think? Which sounds like the right answer? A, B, C, or D? All right, I see a few responses in there. Let's type in A, see what happens. And survey says, absolutely. Uploaded files can be used as context for your prompts, allowing Copilot to reason over those files, but it's limited to work data reasoning. All right, so Copilot pages, which statement best describes a page? A storage location for uploaded files only. B, a dynamic, editable, shareable canvas where Copilot responses can be developed and collaborated on. C, a feature used only for creating PowerPoint presentations. D, a replacement for Copilot Chat. So what do you think? A, B, C, or D? All right, got a couple y'all. Thank you for your response, few of y'all. So I'm going to put a B in here. Survey says, good job, right? Dynamic persistent canvas. Number 3, Copilot agents. Which of the following is a key capability of Copilot agents in Copilot Chat? A, specialized assistance for specific tasks like research or data analysis. B, they permanently store all chat history for every user. C, they replace Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. D, they're available only through Copilot pages. So what do you think? A, B, C, or D? Okay, got a few responses here. Survey says, let's try A. And good job. Yep. So we've got these, and they're specific to particular tasks. All right, now I'm going to show you something kind of cool. So even if you don't have like the full-blown copy of Microsoft 365 Copilot Premium, you can still use Copilot Chat to help you out with creating stuff. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of little prompts right now. All right. So give me a quick sec here. So here is my first one. Okay. So here in Copilot Chat, I am preparing for a product launch for wrist wearables. So I've got some details in here. Please help me identify customer needs and pain points, including any market trends that could influence. Okay. So look what it's doing. It's now taking that data and it is chewing on that information for me. Okay. All right. So it's doing it. Look at all the details coming back. Whoop. Okay. And then market trends, positioning, key takeaway. Look at all that information came back. It did some research for me. Now I'm going to show you something kind of cool right now. Okay. So I'm going to take that data, all that data from chat, and I'm going to move over to Word. And you'll notice here in Word, this is Word on the web. I'm going to paste in this. It says, using the insights below, draft a brand positioning strategy for wrist wearables, executive summary, target audience, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So then I'm going to take the output from Copilot Chat. I'm going to hit copy and paste it right in here. Blink. And go. Now notice Copilot opened up a little side pane for me in Word. Took that entire output. It's putting a plan together for me. Oh my goodness. It's building this document for me. Please remember, you don't want to treat this as gospel, right? But you'll want to get back in here and take a look at the output that was provided by Copilot. Okay, so that now you can see what Copilot's done, the research that it's done, and the cool things that it's put in place for you. Okay, but it's building this entire document for me. Now, once it's done with this document, it says I'm building the document section by section now. Okay, so you can see where it's at, secondary audiences. Once I'm done with this, let's say I need to promote this to my internal executive team. Okay, what I'm going to use is PowerPoint for this. And you notice in my PowerPoint, I have a little Copilot icon. I'm going to choose to create a presentation. And what does it need to be about? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in that says create a presentation about wrist wearables. Include a title slide, closing slide, and talking points in the notes. Use the following data to assist with this. And now, once Word is done doing its thing, it's still building this whole document for me. Isn't that amazing? Right? Let's say that once it's done, I like it, right? Everything looks good. I verified all the data is right. Now I want to take this and build a presentation based on this information. Something to note, when you use Copilot through PowerPoint, it could take it a good 10, 15, 20 or more minutes to generate a presentation for you. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And it could time out if you're using PowerPoint on the web. So try to keep the ones that you build on the web small and simple. If you do get a Microsoft 365 license, then you can use PowerPoint on your local computer, and that will definitely help. Okay. You'll notice Copilot says, hey, I'm all done here. We did some comparisons and all that fun stuff. All right. I love it. Control A, Control C. I'm now going to go into my presentation and paste that entire document in. I've taken 15-page documents and pasted it into PowerPoint before. Okay. Just to see, just to test what's the limits, and I haven't hit them yet. Okay. So it's doing its thing. It's starting to put everything together. You'll notice a little stop symbol in the lower right-hand corner to stop generating. But I wanted to just chew through all this data. Now, one of the things Copilot will do in PowerPoint is it's going to ask clarifying questions. For example, who should this positioning presentation persuade? I'm going to say it's executive leadership. How detailed should the deck be? I'm going to say 10 to 12 slides. Okay. And then one of the last things that it'll ask me in just several minutes is, what kind of theme do you want? Now, because this takes so long, I did it earlier. And you'll notice wrist wearables, it took a long time to build this 10 to 12, but it built this for me. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to build this myself. Okay. All I have to do is just come in here, take a look, fix some things. Sometimes the structure isn't quite right. Things will spill over, but it does a really good first draft. Okay. So I wanted to show you that because even though you may not have Microsoft 365 subscription available to you, you can still do some really awesome stuff with the free version of Copilot. Okay. All right. So let me do this now. We'll take a look at just our last little tidbit for today. Okay, give me a sec. Okay, so our summary, what did we talk about with this particular chapter? Well, we talked about Copilot Chat Basic for drafting ideas, summarizing information, generating code, using Copilot pages to collaborate in real time, organize your content in a shared workspace, and even describe how Copilot agents can automate and personalize tasks. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you found it useful. Maybe you found a particular topic or theme that you're going to take back with you, maybe something to try as soon as you get back. But really appreciate it. You'll notice that there is even a little achievement code that you can redeem in order to get credit for it. And I'm going to let Anne take it from here. Anne, all yours.
Yay. Thank you so much. Actually, I should probably put my camera on here because then it's weird if I'm just talking without a person to go with it. Thank you, Jean. That was amazing. I've been using Copilot for maybe 6 months now, and I thought I knew, but I don't. So just real quick, I had never been using Pages before. I just never even thought about it. So that's something I'm going to incorporate. And also, my prompting needs to include like tell me step by step because it always gives me a huge paragraph and stuff in the settings. So anyway, if I learned a ton, I bet other people did too. So thank you so much for your time. And for everyone who's attended here, thank you guys all so much too, because we know you're really busy and we super appreciate that you spent your maybe lunch hour or whatever with us. But I did put in the chat, hopefully you can see it, your Microsoft Achievement Code for completing this session here. Great job. So you can go ahead and retrieve that, post it on LinkedIn, social media, make your friends and family super jealous. This webinar was also recorded, so we'll be sending you the recording. And I did put my email here just in case you had any questions. This was such a packed hour, Jean. I don't know how you fit all that into it, but somehow you did it. And so I know there was really no time for Q&A, but if you have anything, you can email me and then I'll work with Jean to get some answers. Um, and one just thing real quick, if you don't mind if I share my screen. Let's see here. Let's see. You know what? Actually, stop. Sorry. I'm gonna just share the whole thing. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully you can see the website. Can you confirm, Gene? Okay, awesome. He's nodding. That means yes. All right. So if you want to take a look at the Microsoft Copilot courses, this one's included. Just going to brands, Microsoft. And we'll also email this to you. I'm just going to scroll down here. It's taking a second. I'm slow today, but we will send you all these links also. So here you can see all the different categories. There's Copilot. You'll find this course in there, plus all of our other ones. Um, and we'll also include some related courses for you there. And also, if you have any ideas for other webinars that you'd like to see, you can feel free to let us know that as well. We're always looking for things that draw the people in. We want to give the audience what they want. So we'll do that for you. Okay, so at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and stop my share. And just again, final thank you so much to everybody. Jean, thank you for your time, and thank you everyone for your time. We hope to see you at the next webinar on July 23rd, and we'll send that out as well. So we good? Anything else? All right. That was a lot. That was a lot, but it was wonderful. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and hope to see you soon. Bye bye.